All right. Welcome to Blue Pill Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host. Um, just got off work at midnight. It is 1:07. It is November 18th, 2025. Um, as far as updates, Sammy's on vacation, so I haven't been podcasting as much. Just been honestly hanging out with her, spending time with her. I don't get to see her much, so that's basically what I've been doing. Yeah, I'll try to podcast as much as I can this week. I think she's on a week vacation, could be longer, I'm not sure. No intro music today. She's sleeping, so I don't want to wake her up. Have a Buy Me a Coffee account set up in the link below. If you donate money, I'll snail mail you a sticker. I think there's 3 or 4 left. I still need to check the polls again. My decision was either to put out more stickers or bookmarks, and so far people are wanting bookmarks. So I'll probably end up doing some Vistaprint bookmarks. I need to hit up that dude who Old School Dave emailed me about, some dude. Might hit that guy up. If he's offering a better deal, I might just go with him, And it would be supporting, basically a smaller content creator. You know what I mean? So, alright, let's get on with the show, though. That's about it for updates. I do have some more Conspiracy Corner episodes planned. That's my other podcast. I have game reviews in general. Go check out that playlist if you're listening on YouTube. That's basically kind of what I've been doing with Blue Pill Podcast here lately. Is just doing game reviews, because that's kind of what I'm into when I'm not watching conspiracy or talking conspiracy. That's my pastime, is game reviews. But today we're going to be reviewing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Battle Nexus 2 for Game Boy Advanced. There's the cart. I play on original hardware, playing with a SP. Let's get into it. It's a little hot in here, so I had to shed a layer. Not gonna lie, so I'm a nerd, and you guys know that. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I'd have to say, as far as my introduction to it, growing up in the 90s, we had a VHS player, and I remember my mom had bought, I think we had 2 or 3 VHSs of the FYE For Your Entertainment Ninja Turtles series. So that would be kind of my introduction into the Ninja Turtles. We watched those VHSs so many freaking times. That, and I would say probably the movie trilogy, the old 90s movie trilogy. I remember growing up with my old best friend, when we were it was my first best friend ever. His name was Jordan Aquendo, this black boy. And if we weren't watching Chicago Bulls, because we were a big fan of Michael Jordan, we'd watch Saturday morning cartoons, but we were either watching the FYE VHSs of Ninja Turtles, the cartoon, the original cartoon, or the Ninja Turtle movies, the live action movies, with Vanilla Ice, and we had all 3 of them. The third one was not that good. I do remember that, growing up and watching it. And even as a kid, I was like, this one kind of sucks, That's the one where they go back to, back in time to, feudal Japan. But, yeah, I don't know. And it's one of the few nerdy type things that even as I grew older, I don't think I ever really grew out of the Ninja Turtles. Even as an adult, I'm like, yeah, this shit's dope. It still holds up to me today. It's just one of the few nerdy things that I grew up with, and I'm like, yeah, I still like the Ninja Turtles, you know. Um, One day I'm gonna get. They have the Ninja Turtle collection on DVD. I'm gonna get it, but someone did a opening review of it that I watched on YouTube. I can't remember the channel, so I can't give them like a proper shout out. But they were saying it's not like the complete series, though. It's still missing episodes, which bums me out. But and I don't know. I like collecting like complete series of older cartoons on DVD, like Courage the Cowardly Dog, Gravity Falls. And I've seen it in Walmart, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna get that one day, you know, just drop the money and get it. But that's kind of my introduction to the Ninja Turtles in general, growing up. So I picked this card up. I picked this one up, and I want to say like multiple other cards, Mortal Kombat, Prince of Persia. So I was just going on a game run, and I think this one cost, it was like either like $12 or 15, maybe even $20. But it is a very lengthy game, so I just now beat it on easy mode, where it's only 3 worlds. You have a jungle world, you have like a prison world, and I can't remember the first world. Yeah, I can't recall now. But it's only 3 worlds if you play on easy mode. Which, by the way, even with easy mode, the difficulty for this game, like, obviously I just beat the game, but like there was multiple times where like I was on the edge of my seat, barely making it through levels, failing at levels, having to basically like watch, you know, like long plays of it, of other people playing it, and I'm like, well, how the fuck do you do this, you know? So if you don't have the manual, yeah, it's a little difficult because you're trying to figure out moves. There's certain times where I kept failing at something, and I would like watch someone play it, and I'm like, well, how do you do that? And then have to figure it out, you know, button mashing, and go, oh, okay, I didn't even know I could do that, you know. And so the story for it is basically it's Shredder and the Foot Clan. I'm not sure if this is based off of like a newer, well, not newer, it'd be old now, because this game was 2000. I don't have the booklet, but it's, oh, here it is, 2004. So I mean, it's not that new. I do think that I actually did kind of watch the newer Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cartoon. I don't remember. I don't think I watched a couple episodes here and there on Cartoon Network, but I just don't think I liked it as much as like the more cute, more comedy-esque, older FYE, you know, series. But so this is Battle Nexus 2. I'm not sure if there's a Battle Nexus 1. If we have time at the end, maybe we'll delve into it. And like I said, I think it's based off of like a TV series. So I couldn't tell you honestly if it's like exactly like the TV series, but essentially it's basic classic Ninja Turtles fighting Shredder. Shredder sends them through like a portal, and they get thrown into like an alien planet. They end up meeting like a robot who's on the run, and there's 2 people trying to get him. There's like this weird space military group, and then there's this alien group that's trying to get this robot. And they're like Triceratops aliens. So it was kind of neat that like, because I've grew up playing like the older Ninja Turtle Game Boy carts. I had 2 of them. I had one, it was like Ninja Turtles Return to the Sewers or something, and then there was another one, Fall of the Foot Clan. And I had both of those and used to play them like crazy growing up. Original gray Game Boy carts. And I actually seen one the other day, so I probably will pick it up and possibly end up doing a game review on it. So it was kind of neat to that it wasn't like a classic Ninja Turtle game, because usually it's like all based in New York. So this was kind of cool to get thrown into like a brand new, well, several different brand new worlds, alien worlds, you know. And the opening sequence was long as hell. So I haven't really seen many video games do this. Maybe I just can't think of anything off the top of my head, but like there was like the first two Zelda games kind of start off with the story, and then you don't get much story after that, which I reviewed them. Go check out my Zelda playlist. It's just essentially like the Star Wars style scroll. Here's the basic story. Now play the game. This kind of was in that same vein of like, you have this super long intro, and I'm like, holy shit, this is a lot of dialogue. Not that that bothers me, because I grew up, I'm a big fan of like, for example, like Final Fantasy X, where there's tons of dialogue. Dialogue doesn't bother me. I don't mind playing a game and feel like it's like a storybook. The only other games I can really remind me of is like the two first Zeldas. There was a RPG on the Ear Guys, if you've ever seen it. I can't remember the name of the RPG, but they had an RPG mode, and it was kind of the same way of like, here's the story, now play the game, and there's not going to be like any more story. So I'm not sure if you play normal or hard mode, if the story, if there's more detailed story, because it did kind of end abruptly. Like, I fought two bosses, did a couple levels, and then like it just ended, and it was like, you should try playing normal mode, and here's the credits. And I'm like, oh shit, I just beat the game, which is a little aggravating. I've had this happen with other games of like, oh, if you beat it on easy, you're not getting the full story. And I don't know, to me, that's always been a little tacky. Like, I'll never forget, dude, I was so angry. One of my first experiences of playing something on easy mode, which it was a Castlevania, so those games are hard as fuck anyways. It was Castlevania 64. And I'll never forget, dude, even on easy mode, the game was hard. And I went through the entire game, and I got all the way to Dracula, and it wouldn't let me fight Dracula. It basically did the exact same thing of like, you should play it on normal mode. Like, congratulations, you beat it on easy mode, and here's the credits. And I'm like, what? So it was literally the entire game except for the last boss, which was Dracula. And I was just like, that was shitty. So I've noticed that like with this one, it's 3 worlds if you play it on easy. So there is like 2 more worlds. There's feudal Japan, which would have been cool to play with. Any game, if they give me the options of difficulty, I always play it on easy mode first, and then I'll beat, if I want to go back and play it on normal, I can play it on normal. Hard, I very rarely do, because honestly, I'm not gonna lie, dude, I'm not the best gamer. I'm just a casual gamer, and I find myself struggling with games with difficulties and stuff, so I usually just play games on easy or normal. I'm not proud of myself, but it is what it is. So with the main story, one of the things, and they kind of tie it in with the story, is that Shredder teleports them to the turtles to like an alien planet, and the robot, the doctor, he's kind of teleporting you also. And essentially the whole thing is he's like, dude, I can open a portal for you to go back to Earth, but you got to collect the crystals to power the teleporter machine. So the whole game, you're just gathering as much crystals as you can, going through levels. One thing I have to say about it is it's not repetitive, which is good. You got your basic side scroll, essentially like a beat 'em up, It's not like Turtles in Time, so you can't move like up and down. It's only just side scroll of left and right. There's crawling segments, there's climbing segments, there's sneaking segments. So there's like kind of like a Metal Gear ninja shit. You're sneaking around, dodging enemies sometimes. And you do not get other turtles. It's only you as one turtle. I'm not sure if there was a two-player mode, because two-player would have been cool. And with the main title, there is other modes that you can play. Like there's a battle mode, which is kind of like a beat 'em up fighter. I played like a little bit of it. I just kind of played through the story and beat it through the story. I will have to like check out the other modes though. There's a battle mode. There is, let me look it up real quick. I got it right here. So there's a battle mode, a race mode, and then story mode. I ain't gonna lie, I have no clue what the race mode is. Single play or multiplayer, so there is multiplayer option. Yeah, you're essentially just racing through on a side scroll like skateboarding. Okay, I did try that mode out. Yeah, that was one thing I was gonna say though, is the game is not repetitive at all, which is cool as fuck. So you have your basic side scroll platforming beat 'em up. There's swimming segments, which was kind of annoying and kind of aggravating, because the swimming segment, thankfully I only ran across one, but the turtles does not swim that well, and I'm like, it's a turtle, like it's an aquatic creature, like it should be able to swim like decent, you know. But the swimming segment kind of sucked, you know. It was just aggravating, like the controls for it. But there's like kind of like a hoverboard. There's a couple parts where you're like you know, surfing through the sky on the hoverboard. There's several different styles. Hang on, there's the swimming. Oh, there's one or two segments where it's like a first person space shooter, which that was kind of neat. And then they have side scroll space shooters where you're just in a spaceship flying around shooting monsters and aliens and shit. So that's one thing I have to say, man. It's not at all repetitive, which is a plus for me. You guys know me with game reviews. One of my biggest beefs is when games are too quiet. This one's not very loud. And I have figured it out. It's not my Game Boy, because I've thought about it. I'm like, maybe my hardware just sucks. It's not the Game Boy, because there's several games that I've played to where it's like too loud. I've actually had to turn it down because I didn't want to like ruin my speakers. But I don't know why it is that with the Game Boy Advanced, and I find it mostly with the Game Boy Advance, Game Boy and Game Boy Color, because you guys know me, I've just been playing through Game Boy Advance library, like all three of those. I don't know why, it's just something I started doing earlier this year. But I've noticed with Game Boy and Game Boy Color, you don't really have that issue with the volume. Most of those games, when I put them in and play them, I put it like 3/4 up, you know. This one, I don't know why, just here lately, every time I've played like a newer game, a GBA game, it's like quiet as fuck. So kind of I'm not big on that, you know. One thing that I've noticed with the original classic Ninja Turtle side scrolls, and it's not like a it's not like a deal breaker, because I'm kind of used to it, of essentially like it's usually all pretty much the same formula. It's side scroll, you play as one turtle. When that turtle dies, you switch a turtle, you know. There's the 4 turtles. I always play as Leo. I would say Raphael is probably my favorite personality-wise. But, yeah, I dig the swords, man. That's my jam. Like, Leo has my favorite weapon. And there's, like, actually, like, a whole theory behind that each turtle, Splinter purposely gave them, each turtle, a specific weapon based off of their personality, but he knew that there were certain lessons that they needed to learn in life. So like Raphael has anger issues, so he got like size, like the tiniest weapon. And you'll have to look it up. It's kind of crazy. If we have time, maybe I'll look it up and we'll get into it. But each weapon was specifically picked for each member, depending on their personality and what certain lesson they need to learn, you know. So I always thought that was kind of neat. But one thing that I have to say though is like, with like Turtles in Time, that's like multiplayer. So you could play it with up to four people on the fucking arcade machine. Which, by the way, dude, there's a company, I think it's One Up Companies, dude. And they make arcade machines. You have to set them up yourself, but they're only like $300, man. Which I'm pretty sure that price has already gone up. But there is a Turtles in Time one. There's a Simpsons one. Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter. There's a bunch, dude. And I'm not going to lie, dude. It's one of those few things I'm like, I want it so bad, you know. Because I've always been a huge fan of like Turtles in Time. But one thing I was like, man, they kind of miss out on it with the classic side-scroll Ninja Turtles of like, wouldn't it be cool to be able to fight with whatever turtle you pick, and then the other three turtles are like CPs, you know, computers, and they follow you around and help you out. And I know that it's possible. I mean, I've played games on here before and reviewed them, like let's see, was it Chronicles of Narnia? Like that's a not multiplayer, but it's like multiple characters all running around and helping you out. I played one here recently and did a review on it, and it was Goblet of Fire, Harry Potter Goblet of Fire. Go check out those two reviews. It is possible with the GBA hardware. It's just, does the company want to do it, you know? This one is Konami, which I've always enjoyed their games. I've never had any beef with them. I mean, I played plenty of Yu-Gi-Oh games. Those are all Konami's. They've made a decent amount, if we're talking retro gaming, they've made a decent amount of like fighting games. This one was good though, and it was Konami, you know. And this one does have a save system, so that's always a plus, because that's one of my beefs is like passwords. It's not a deal breaker, because I mean, earlier this year I played and reviewed Treasure Planet, and like those passwords were actually kind of cool because they were easily rememberable. Like the password would be like castle, and then you beat that level, the next one would be like pirate. But it drives me nuts when it's like, I don't know, like 10 or 11 or 12 letters and numbers you have to put in, and it's just randomized, like ZQ3. Like that shit drives me nuts. So the game is like decently lengthy. I think which I didn't play every single night. I usually don't. I'll play like 3 or 4 nights in a row, and usually by that I mean like I go to work, I come home, and I'll play like maybe an hour or 2 or 3 hours, just depending how I feel. And I think this one took me, I'll have to look it up, but probably like a week and a half to beat. I don't know, when was my last game review? My last one was Beyblades. So I think it took me about a week, you know, and that's just as an adult working 40 hours a week, doing, well, my average has dropped a lot, dude. I ain't gonna lie. I haven't been podcasting as much as, for one, I would like to, and two, I just haven't been able to, either with life or, like I said, Sammy's on vacation right now, so I probably won't be podcasting as much. I was having technical problems with my phone, just being an adult, you know. So I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna look and show you guys what my next game reviews I got planned. So I haven't full blown decided yet, but I got Around the World in 80 Days for Game Boy Advanced. That's a side scroll. Looks like it's got a decent story mode. So I reviewed Men in Black, the Black Cart, the first one. This one's the second one. So they've actually made it better. It's like definitely an upgrade. BattleBots, which I was a huge fan of. Cactus Jack, Mankind, and that and BattleBots. Like, I played a little bit just to try it out. It looks pretty fucking cool. You essentially build robots and destroy other robots. This I had to get, man. It was only $3.99. Chicken Shoot. It's literally like you're shooting chickens. That's the whole concept. I'm not sure if that one, if there's enough substance that I could do a review on it. We shall see. And I also have a Shrek go-kart game, which I have another go-kart game that I reviewed in the past. It was Cartoon Network Speedway. I don't know. I like Mario Kart clones, so look forward to those game reviews. But we got a little bit of time. I do want to check out and see if there is a Nexus 1. See if there's a Game Boy cart, and we'll get into that for a second. Okay, so I looked it up. I wanted to do a little background history on it. So, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Battle Nexus. So, there is no Battle Nexus 1. I guess it's the way the font is that kind of threw me off. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Battle Nexus for the Game Boy Advanced. So the Turtles, the Teenage Mutant Ninja ones, at the very least, have a storied history in the sophisticate's hobby of choice. I speak, of course, of video games. Yes, the Heroes in a Half Shell have starred in many a banger over the years, with excellent showings on almost every major system and handheld. I suppose it's just a premise that lends itself brilliantly to gaming. 4 near identical characters, each with signature weapons. Christ, you get so much as a look at the slimy bastards, and you just want to start playing them. Here's a little screenshot of what it looks like. So I guess the first one was just TMNT. So, coming off excellent games like the Turtles in Time and Radical Rescue, I came into the 2004 Game Boy Advance sequel TMNT 2 Battle Nexus with an open mind, and was immediately greeted with a game that opens each level with the TMNT totally unarmed. Okay, game. Alright. Yeah, I told you guys that. Yes, the goal of each game in the Battle Nexus is to find each chosen turtle's weapon, then utilize it to escape the stage. There are a few dressery vehicle stages, but by and large, it's the first thing, which is a side-scroll, beat-em-up, platformer. Find weapon, find exit, but prior to acquiring your engine of pugilism, you've got to use that stealth, which, as you well know, isn't something that traditionally works very well in a 2D game. Basically, though, like, you're kind of like, you're finding like little cubby holes, and you'll push up and jump into it, come back down when the enemy is like looking away or walking past, you know. Indeed, there was something of a vogue for 2D stealth on the GBA around this time. Even the freaking Madagascar tie-in game had stealth sections, but I digress. Stealth is rudimentary in the extreme, with the sound you make not taken into account to the slightest. Yeah. No, you've just got to avoid being spotted, which means ducking into alcoves, dodging searchlights. Even if you do get noticed, you can just duck into a hiding place and wait, and leave the screen. There's no ranking system, and it all basically shakes out the same way, making it feel like busy work. See, I didn't have that issue, but I did play it on easy. So yeah, Battle Nexus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Battle Nexus for Game Boy Advance. I hope you all enjoyed the review. Please like, share, and subscribe, and go check out those other game reviews I did. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you thought of the game, if you've ever played it growing up or currently play retro, you know.